Hey, welcome everybody. Let me actually close the character sheet there. There, now we can see the picture. Hey everybody, welcome to our one shot that we're doing for, I believe I was calling it Spooktober. Hoping to do a couple other one shots this month too that are going to be obviously spooky themed, both here and I'm doing some guest spots on some other channels as well, which you can find out about on my Twitter. But for today, we're playing Fun and Games, which is a saying that usually people say in a fun way, but in this case, it's maybe not quite all fun and games for our characters here. It's gonna be really interesting to see how they solve some of these problems. Before we jump into the introduction of the story and the setting, we'll go around and introduce all of our players here. So everybody, just tell us a little bit about you, where we can find next. Oh, hey! Oh, thanks for that subscription. Thanks, Gwen. Appreciate that. So yeah, we'll introduce our players, let you tell us a little bit about your character, and then where we can find you next on the internet. And then we'll go into the game introduction. So let's start with the top here. We'll start with Gwen.
So, I'm Glenn Fairhell on the Twitter and the Twitch. You can just find me here tomorrow as well.
Yep. Perfect. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Hello there.
So, Cassidy is, she's 18, she's red-haired, goggles, red skirt. She's got a prosthetic arm that she made herself.
Very cool.
And she's not good with people.
Not good with people.
Good with machines, not people.
That'll be quite interesting. Well, fantastic. And then we'll pass it on to Ren. First of all, welcome to the channel. It's your first time on here.
Yes, hi. It's good to be here. Wow, I just got like this bout of awkward. I don't know where that came from. Hi, I'm Ren.
No worries. I'm awkward all the time, so.
Atomic Firebird. Usually on Twitter, I spend too much time there, as Gwen knows and sees.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't have my own Twitch channel, but I'm often on the Scouticus Academy, which is where I am on Tuesdays playing a D&D game there. And then I just kind of float around and do one shots here and there wherever people will have me.
Fantastic.
I am playing Ash Jones, and they're dressed a little bit like this. It's kind of like a little bit of like athletic stripy gear, but with a denim vest over it. They have kind of dirty blonde hair and a ponytail. They're usually just sort of seen around town being kind of a slacker. Nobody really knows all that much about them. They might be going to the local college. It's unclear. If they do, they're probably skipping class a lot.
Fantastic. Love it. Perfect. Well, and Gwen here has kindly gifted you a +10. So if you have a role that you really need to succeed in the game, that would be a great time to use that.
I assumed that Gwen would just give that to Gwen's character. It's very selfless of you.
I rarely give stuff to my own character. Rarely.
Well,
You are better man than I.
Well, again, thanks for being here. That's fantastic. I'm excited to find out more about the mysteries of your character as we go through the game. And with that, we'll throw it over to Rowan. Rowan is muted.
Oh my goodness. Okay. It's like this is my first time doing it or something. Hi, I'm Rowan North. I'm a freelance illustrator and art educator. You can find all my social medias and things like that at rowannorthillustrations.org, which I will post on the side once I'm done with my introduction. I do stuff here quite often. I do my own game, which is fairy tale based game called Grimm, And then I do Game Grumps style streaming on Sundays with Raven at our joint channel, R&R Streaming. So I am playing Faith Moonstone, and he runs the local New Age Wiccan store that used to be run by his mom, but his mom disappeared a couple months back mysteriously. So instead of going to college or moving away like he kind of wanted to do, he is kind of stuck taking care of the store and living the same old life, and not loving it.
All right. Well, cool. And then, as for myself, as you'll know, I'm Raven. So I'm a tabletop RPG streamer, professional GM, and tabletop game designer. I'm here every day except for Wednesday and Sunday. All the times and everything are in the panels down below. And then, for the most part, if you are following me on Twitter, which is there in chat, I'm posting about all the different stuff that I'm doing, so you can always find out what's going on there. And with that, we'll jump into the game here. So, our setting, as you can see in this image here, looks like an old, quiet town. The name of the town's called Serenity. For the most part, it's pretty uneventful. There's not a whole lot to do in the town. It's just really quiet and slow, and just sort of this lazy tempo to the whole town. About 10 or so years ago, the exact timing kind of varies depending on who you talk to in the town. But the oldest accounts say about 10 years ago, and as recently as 5 years ago is kind of the range. Some weird things started happening on one side of the town. It started at the game store. Just accidents would happen, unexplained sightings and sounds, and gradually it just seemed to kind of come out as a circle right around that store. All these other businesses in the area would have these weird things happen. People would get injured without any explanation. Weird shifts in the weather. Just very odd stuff. And eventually all the businesses in that side of town just closed. Nobody wanted to go there, so all the businesses who survived moved into different parts of the town, and those who didn't have the money just closed shop and moved on. The weirdest thing in all the stories is that pretty much all of the accounts say that Old Man Haster, who ran the game store, nobody knows where he went. I'm seeing reactions and it's making me laugh. Yeah, Old Man Haster, nobody knows where he went. He just sort of disappeared. And the game store is, by last accounts, intact. Nothing was changed or locked up, really, other than the standard door lock. It seems like looters even are too scared to go in there. There's no broken windows or anything like that, which is a little bit odd. So the three of you, all of course probably with your own personal motivations for this little venture, but basically the three of you have come together, whether it's on a dare or a planned outing, but you've decided to go check it out. You're going to find out, what's the real deal with this game store. So you've managed to go past Fate's store, which is basically right on the edge of the part of town where people don't go. What's the name of your family store there?
It is, shoot. I thought of his mom's name and everything. I didn't think about the store name. I would call it Crystals by Moonstone.
Crystals by Moonstone? Okay. So you're meeting up at Crystals by Moonstone, and you notice the weather is starting to get cloudy. It's not raining or anything yet, but you did notice the clouds only seem to be forming just past the store. They're not moving into the rest of the part of town. They're kind of being stuck right there. But the game store is just down that road. What do you all do as you sort of congregate outside the store?
Well, I mean, Faith is probably locking up the store, putting a close sign. Probably has grabbed some snacks from the shelves or whatever.
Okay.
That's pretty much. Unfortunately, it's like the really crappy, like health food type stuff, like the hemp bars, hemp health food bars, and the super good for you green energy drink that tastes like hot garbage.
We can see Rowan's a real fan of health
Like-
food.
Kombucha or something.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Okay.
Kombucha is.
Yep.
All
It tastes
right,
like feet,
and,
but that's okay. It's supposedly good for you.
To make sure that I have everybody's characters' names down correctly as well, Gwen, your character is Cassidy, and then Ren. What was your character's name?
Ash.
Ash. Okay, perfect. So we'll start with Cassidy. You probably know Faith. It's a small town. Everybody seems to know everybody. What do you say as you approach the store and you see Faith coming out with this handful of snacks and whatnot?
Is this the store that we're breaking into?
No, it's just where you're meeting because it's the closest meeting point before you get to that abandoned part of town.
I have no idea.
Okay. So Cassidy does seem to be the quiet type, so you can just walk up and not say anything. That's okay. And then for Ash, what do you say as you approach the store?
I don't say anything, but actually, I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Ugh, so much for a intro. So very suddenly, Cassidy realizes that there is just an arm draped around her shoulder as Ash, who is very tall, just kind of, drapes an arm around Cassidy's shoulder and then reaches over and grabs one of the health food bars out of Faith's hands and looks at it.
Perfect.
And Faith gives you
Opens it up, takes a bite.
a look and says, "That's $2."
Gingerly kind of like puts the wrapper like back on the edge of the bitten off chunk and hands it back.
Faith rolls his eyes like literally to the back of his skull. And it's like, "I don't want it back. You keep it."
I thought you were offering. And then I'm going to do like that like partial sort of like noogie thing on Cassidy's head. What are you up to?
We're going to. Wait, is the plan already just to go into the game store?
Yeah, you're all aware that you're planning to investigate this. Whether you had your own plans to do this and sort of found out last minute that everybody had the same idea, or you've planned this together, entirely up to y'all.
Yeah,
think
we're
it's
going to the
invading
game
their
store like we planned to a week ago.
What I wonder is if Faith actually had an ad for it in the paper.
That
And
could
only
be, yeah.
stupid teenagers would do it.
We can definitely go that route. That
You're
is
really doing
no
that?
problem
I
at
didn't
all.
think that you guys would.
Of course we are.
Then why are you here?
Bored.
That's as good as reason as any, I suppose.
Perfect. And then, Ren, I'm
I'll
sorry.
resume eating the gross power bar.
Ren, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask you. What are Ash's pronouns?
They, them.
They, them. Okay. And then I believe I already asked you, Gwen. Cassidy's our she, her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, okay. Just making notes of that. I had all the players, but in the rush, I forgot to ask about the characters. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, you're all together. The clouds are starting to look a little bit darker as you stand around talking. But otherwise, it seems okay. You're probably not going to get rained on soon, though there's weird reports of the weather in that area, so you never really know.
I suggest we get going, unless you want to be waterlogged all the way there.
No, I'd rather not.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. As you head down the path going towards that part of town, it's a little overgrown on the sides of the road, since nobody really goes to that part of the town. That includes the city maintenance folks as well. So the road is pretty much paved and intact, but there's a lot of weeds growing up over the sides, a lot of underbrush and trees that are getting a little bit scraggly, and branches reaching out over the top of the road as well. And it just sort of gives you this really creepy walking into a forest tunnel kind of vibe to it. As you make your way far enough down the road that it's hard to see Crystals by Moonstone behind you, everyone give me a sight check. If you'd like, you can roll hearing instead. So that's a 24 for Cassidy. And a 7 for Ash.
Oh gosh, the jump behind my camera, and I've spilled all the dice on the floor. This is going great. Help me.
Rowan, it's your character that has the unlucky flaw, not you.
No, we already know that. Me too. Who was the person that just stabbed themselves with a sewing needle today?
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
All right.
Point.
All right. That is 19.
19. So I'm just gonna see. So faith 19. There we go. All right. So Cassidy, you rolled sight, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You notice it's just out of the corner of your eye. You think you see something that looks vaguely human-shaped, and it's really hard to see because it's dark and there's shadows kind of going every which way. You could have sworn you saw somebody in a jester's outfit for just a split second duck behind a tree.
Cassie's going to jump and go, ah! And then point out to the rest of the crew.
As you look back at that tree, you don't see anything.
Don't tell me
Ash,
you're losing your nerve already.
As for Ash, you are just really kind of curious about this granola bar thing that you're eating, and it sort of has captured all of your attention, and you are oblivious to everything around you.
I'm reading the ingredients.
It's like hemp, chia seed, rolled oats.
See, like, if it's made out of hemp, like, can I get a contact high?
No, you can't.
It's no fun.
Aw.
Faith decides not to mention the fact that he actually does have weed on him.
Okay. And speaking of Faith, with a 19, you don't notice that shadow that Cassidy saw, but you do see another vague shadow of a cloaked figure on the opposite side of the road that seems to kind of duck behind a tree. It's just out of the corner of your eye, just for a split second, and much like Cassidy, when you turn to look at it, there's nothing there but a tree.
So, Faith put ads out about this day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Faith immediately is like, oh, there are some other kids that showed up deciding they can punk us. So he literally does not give them the time of day. I think all he really says is like, look, looks like there's some other punk ass kids coming to mess with us. Ignore them.
You mean
Okay.
other than me?
Yeah. You're not dressed like I don't know, like a Satan worshiper.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
As you walk by those trees that you saw people duck behind, or you think you saw at least, Cassidy and Faith, give me discipline checks.
Cassidy and Faith. Okay. This is 16 for Cassidy.
All right,
Okay.
that is a 27 for Faith.
Okay, so Cassidy, with a 16, as you pass that tree, your skin just feels ice cold. You get goosebumps and you might even shiver for a second. But just as quickly as it happens, it goes away. Faith, you are pretty much determined that this is some punk kid, but you do glance back over and there's nothing there, no footprints or anything like that. But you're still pretty sure this is just a prank, or maybe the shadow's playing tricks on your eyes. You are completely unaffected.
That follows. He's a cynic.
Yep.
Too chill. Too chill.
The rest
Don't
of
ask
your
me how a cynic got to run the magic store, but you know.
And yeah.
the rest of your walk up to the abandoned game store is pretty much uneventful. It does get darker. The clouds are thicker. You hear some thunder, but there's no rain yet. And you pass a couple of boarded up stores along the way. You can see what used to be a sandwich shop. You can tell that the sign's been taken down, but the discoloration of the paint behind the sign versus where the sign wasn't, you can make out what it used to be. And it was called Sandwichery. And it's pretty much boarded up on the windows, but you can kind of see through between the boards into the shop if you wanted to. The door is just locked. It's not boarded up or anything like that. But you can tell that's been abandoned. And across the street from that, you can see an old trophy store where they sold trophies and did engravings and things like that. Much the same way, the sign is still there, but the windows are kind of boarded over, and the door just has a padlock and chain on it. Do you want to do anything there, or do you keep going?
I feel like Ash is just kind of this whirlwind of mischief, and is, everything they pass, like prying to see if there's any loose boards or anything valuable, or, just sticking their nose in where it doesn't really
And-
belong.
Cassidy would be helping.
Okay. So which do you want to look at first, the sandwich shop or the trophy shop?
Can you remind me how long ago these things were abandoned?
Somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago.
All right, I'll go to the sandwich shop.
Okay. So you go to the sandwich shop. The door is firmly locked, but as you kind of poke and pull at one of the boards on the window, it just falls right off with a loud clattering sound. And it's a big enough opening that you could crawl in. The window has apparently been broken out long ago.
What do you think the expiration dates are on, like all those chips and stuff that were probably in there?
Chips have expiration dates?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm
they
gonna
do.
go look.
Yes, they do. Okay.
Look,
I'm gonna go in. You know how like sandwich shops always have that like metal rack that has just like the tiny individual sized chips hanging on it? That's what Ash is going for.
Okay. As you duck
Yeah.
into the sandwich shop, and Cassidy, if you're following, both of you give me
Yeah.
a sight or hearing roll. And then just let me know what you're doing. And
Sight.
okay, so it's a 25 sight for Cassidy, a 12 sight or hearing for Ash.
I did sight.
Sight, okay. So 25 sight, you see everything. So we'll start with Ash. You do see that display that you're looking for, and there are some bags of chips still left on there.
Sweet. I wonder if they have salt and vinegar. I'm just kidding.
Let's find out.
I want sun chips.
They do have salt and vinegar. They do not have sun chips. But Cassidy, you see everything, so you do notice that there is a metal stand with a bunch of old, individual-sized bags of chips on there. You also notice that the meat cooler and things like that, it looks like a virtually abandoned store. Like they just walked out and didn't take anything with them. The only thing that you don't notice, or that you see is not there, you don't notice any meat slicers. The register's gone. So the more expensive and easily moved pieces of equipment have been taken out, but there's still a soda fountain in there, and the big cooler where they would store the cold cuts and everything is still there. And you can see that there is an open door to a back room.
Don't waste too much time. Still don't want to be rained on. I guess Faith is watching out front.
Cassidy's going to grab 2 bags of chips. one to eat and one for her a backpack.
Okay. Do you what flavor do you grab? They'll have basically any other flavor aside from sun chips.
The cheddar and sour cream, and then sour cream and
Onion?
Onion?
yeah. Sour cream and
Okay.
onion. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Do you inspect the bags or do you just grab them and go to town?
I grab it and go
Cassidy's
to town.
Cassidy's opening them, going to town on the sour cream and cheddar.
Okay. 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 So the sour
We're
cream and
rolling
cheddar.
dice. Okay.
For the sour cream and cheddar, give me a might roll.
Oh wow. Okay.
So in your hurry to eat these chips, you just you open it up and you're like, yeah,
Where
this,
did the +2 come from?
I don't know.
Hmm.
So you open it up and you start, chowing down. They taste okay. They're a little stale. But about 30 seconds after you've started eating, you start to get really, really queasy. You have to throw up. Do you throw up right there, or do you look for a place to hurl? What do you do?
Running for the bathroom.
Okay. You don't see a bathroom. You're a little too panicked. It's a little too urgent, but you do remember that door to the back room.
Yeah. Going there.
Okay. Now to Ash. Also give me a might roll. Your chips taste pretty much fine other than a little bit stale.
Yeah, 23.
You feel a little like, these chips aren't sitting with me the best, but I think I'm okay.
I've had worse.
And behold, this is the best that a newspaper ad can offer.
Gwen, so as Cassidy bolts back into the back room of the sandwich shop, you see the basically the mop sink. That's the closest thing that you can see.
Yeah,
Um,
going for that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you expel the contents of your stomach into this sink, and as soon as you do, you start to feel better. Do you inspect the bags now?
What?
Do you inspect the chip bag now, or do you keep eating? Do you throw it away? What do you do with the chips?
Yeah, that bag is getting thrown away. And I'll look
Okay.
at the other bag.
Uh, there's a trash can. You chuck that bag away, and you look at the other bag, and you can see that that one's been expired for 5 years. The one that you have not eaten out of.
Hmm. I'm keeping it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Give me a quick hearing check for Cassidy, and for Ash as well, actually.
Okay. I am just too busy laughing. at this.
Yeah.
So neither of you hear
I can hear
anything,
the bags rustling.
but
Yeah, I'm
Cassidy,
just continuing to eat.
Cassidy, you feel this like. It feels like if a hand were made out of metal and had been sitting in ice for about 10 minutes. Just these metal feeling ice cold fingers rest on the back of your neck.
I know that feeling.
What do you do?
Yeah, Cassie would know that feeling because she has a metal hand.
Yes. But you can see that your hand is otherwise occupied. It's definitely not your hand.
Occupado.
Gonna slowly turn around. Slowly.
Okay. As you do, you don't see anything, but you do hear a and then there's nothing.
Oh. Okay.
You definitely are feeling a little bit shaken, though. You just had to hurl, and then that happened.
Not gonna say it wasn't funny. It was kind of funny, but it wasn't that funny.
It was pretty funny.
Are you guys done fucking around?
By the
No.
way,
I imagine Faith has been back outside just smoking while they've been doing their thing.
Ash, by the way, did not hear the laughing, and Faith, you haven't heard anything except maybe hurling noises.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I just heard her saying the thing about it being not that funny. That's what I
Okay.
was responding to.
Yeah. And then you said it was pretty funny. And then Cassie's like, fair enough.
Okay.
It's because you picked the wrong flavor. You gotta go with the salt and vinegar because the vinegar has those preservatives.
Spoken like a true expert. All right, knuckleheads, let's go.
Okay. I'm assuming all of you start heading towards the game store now and ignore the trophy store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about this time that you reach what looks a lot like the picture that you see on the screen there in Roll20 and for the viewers here in Twitch. It's starting to rain now. It starts out as a little bit of a drizzle, but it rapidly picks up to a full, downpour. There's lightning, there's thunder, and it's very dark. You can tell that it looks like all the windows on the store are intact. The door doesn't seem to have a padlock or anything like that on it, but it is closed. You couldn't really tell if it's locked or not. But otherwise, the store looks like it's in perfect condition. Like it could open tomorrow if they wanted to.
All right. Faith is gonna inspect the door.
Okay. Give me a sight roll.
All right, that's 24.
24. So you go up to the door, and you can tell. You try to open it. It's locked. You can see some scratch marks around the door jamb, where it looks like maybe somebody has tried to pry it open without much luck. Otherwise, the door looks fine. There's a window on the door, and you can look in, and it, again, looks like a perfectly fine, normal game store. Doesn't look like it's been abandoned for that long. Everything looks new. There's no layers of dust that you can tell, at least from here. It looks oddly normal.
Let's go in. Opens the door.
Agreed.
The door is locked.
Oh great.
Door's locked. I could have told you that.
Ash will just unceremoniously pull out lockpicks
Fantastic.
and walk over.
Let me see.
I am a dirtbag.
Have you roll.
I had put
have
it
you
into my
roll-
tools section. I
Perfect.
actually don't know what I would roll because there's no dice icon next to that.
Yeah, so you'll want to roll nimbleness, but you can add your training in that tool to that total.
Okay.
So we're gonna see basically how dexterous
Okay.
your fingers are in picking this lock.
Oh, come on.
So
That's gonna be
12
13 total.
plus 1 for the 13. Okay.
Sigh.
So you go to pick the lock, and it's really wet. Your hands are a little bit slippery, and it's dark, and there's this bright flash of lightning, which startles you a little bit, and you drop one of the pieces of the lockpick kit.
Oh, darn it. That's the really expensive part. And now they're there scrambling on the ground to try to retrieve that piece.
Okay. You're muted, Rowan.
I keep doing this.
Yeah.
Why?
Is there a window or something that Cassidy can break in?
You do see some windows. It looks like the windows do have the capability of opening. They're not like, flat windows that are just, always closed. They look like they do slide upwards. If I had to describe them, somewhat similar to like what you see in elementary schools, where they're kind of wide, and they open from the bottom, and kind of opens halfway. Also metal
Nice.
frames, very very old and sort of cheap looking.
Yeah. Cassidy's gonna try and
Um,
force the window open.
Okay. Also, Ash, you do manage to recover your lockpick, and you can try the door again if you want to. So
Faith is
Cassidy,
gonna pull out a flashlight since it's getting
Okay.
dark.
So Cassidy, give me a might roll, and let me know which side of the building, as you're facing it, do you try to open a window?
So it's. Let's see. Where's the door? I think.
So
There's the door, right?
yeah, basically.
And there's a window
Um,
right here.
On the actual store, so there's just the one door, and then one window to the left, one window to the right, and there's windows on either side of the building as well.
Yeah, I'm going for the window on the left, and I'm using my switchblade to help me force the window open.
Okay.
The switchblade under and try to lever it open.
So if you're trying
So-
to use some leverage here, let me have you roll nimbleness.
Nimbleness plus training.
If you have training in switchblade, sure.
Breaking
Yes.
and entering.
Okay, so that would be
Hey, thanks so much for that follow. Very much
an
appreciated.
11.
Welcome to the guild. An 11. So there's some good news and some bad news. Which one do you want first?
Bad news.
The bad news is the window doesn't budge. The good news is you
Oh.
didn't break your knife
Yay.
or cut yourself in the process. So yeah, the window doesn't seem to budge when you try to pry it open that way. Ash, are you going to take
alright.
another crack at the door lock?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
With the
You
help.
know, as a business as a business owner, I feel like I should care about this, but I really fucking don't. So let's just hurry up.
Well, nobody really owns this business anymore. And besides, I heard some of these old nerd things in here will, get a pretty good price on eBay, so.
Right. Right. I'm
21.
just going to pretend I didn't hear that.
All right. So with a 21, you work with the little
think
lock picking tools
Faith
and
Faith holds a light over it to help.
perfect. So yeah, you wiggle them around and everything, and eventually you hear a click, and you're able to turn the whole knob, and the door opens. So,
Abracadabra.
as you
See Cassidy clap.
as you see the door open, you hear that slow. And it opens all the way. And yeah, the inside of the store is dark. There's no lights on. But
No,
it seems...
you think it's done, but then once it's pushed open, it does a final. And you're like, wait, where'd that come from?
Yeah. So it opens all the way, and yes, there's a series of squeaks, and it goes on for a while. And yeah, you're able to walk in if you so choose. What order are you entering the room?
I think when the door opens, then Ash will sort of stand up and do one of these gestures at Faith. This is your personal quest here, Spooky Prince. You want to go first?
Spooky Prince, I love it. He kind of rolls his eyes and says, "Yeah. So are there? It's dark in the store, right?
It is dark.
Okay. So he shines his flashlight and steps in. I'd say he reaches into his knapsack and pulls out the weird pendulum thing. Like,
Okay.
it's a pendulum, like a rose quartz pendulum.
Okay. And what do you want to do with the pendulum?
Basically, he's trying to get a general idea or a general vibe of the store, like, if there is anything occult going on. It's more of a magic sense, I guess.
Okay.
Open that
Let me have
third
you
eye or whatever.
Let me have you roll magic engineering with your pendulum here. By the way, this is kind of what the store looks like. We couldn't find a really good picture of a game store to use, so this is a bookstore. But just imagine there are board games and tabletop games and dice and cards mixed with all the books. And that's the general layout of the store, though.
All right, that's 15.
So the pendulum, as you move it around, it starts to like spin a little bit, like swing in a circle. Just very faint, doesn't move a lot. And as you look down at it and notice this, you realize you have no idea what that means.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
But it is doing something. So there's obviously something occult or magic or something going on in here. You just have no idea what it is.
Faith just kind of looks at it and is like, ugh, it's all bullshit anyways. What am I even doing?
So did you actually take a step into the store? Or are you
Yes.
just holding it? Okay. So before you even take a step into the store, when you pull the pendulum out, it starts doing that. As you move your foot to step inside, it seems like everything goes silent. The thunder stops, there's no lightning, the rain even seems to quiet down. almost as if the weather itself. Oh, hey, thanks for that host. Hey, Blair, how's it going? So as your foot crosses the threshold, almost as if the weather itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to take that last step. As your foot comes down, it gets even more and more quiet, almost as if everything is moving in slow motion. And then your foot hits the pad right in front of the door. And you hear this loud bing bong! Roll discipline.
I am trading out dice after this, but that's 13.
13. You do have a reroll if you want to use it, by the way.
I don't think I will yet.
Okay, just check. So with a 13, it scares the crap out of you.
So literally, he's like, "This is all bullshit." Anyway, steps in and then literally does this whole like jump back.
Yep. Let me have Ash roll a quick sight check
To catch.
to see if you notice that Faith is now jumping back towards you.
I got a 20.
20. Perfect. You see this coming. You see the reaction. You have the option to try and catch Faith, or you can sidestep and let him fall on his butt.
Oh, I'll catch.
Okay. So you catch Faith, no problem.
What happened?
Eh.
Too spooky in there for you?
Shut up. He like, I guess he picks himself up off of Ash and.
I feel like I probably caught you like you kind of came backwards, so I kind of just like caught you by the shoulders, I guess.
Yeah. So it's easy for him to straighten up and just kind of shake himself off and keep going in.
Cass, you coming? I can call you Cass, right? 'Cause we're pals now, because we're, breaking and entering together.
Sure.
The true stuff that friendship's made of.
Sweet. Cass. Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, perfect. So as you step in again, you hear the bing bong, but you're expecting it now, and you realize that it's just one of those little like pressure switch things that lets the shopkeep know that somebody's come in the store. Which is a little odd because all the power's out, but this seems to be working. So you're all able to go inside, no problem. The sound of the thunder and rain and everything outside just gets a little bit quieter as you step inside. It's oddly warm in here because it's very cold outside with the rain. It's basically autumn, so it's freezing outside with all that rain. And you step inside and you're oddly warm and cozy. Like it feels very comfortable as you actually get into the store.
Sorry, I'm not taking off my sweatshirt no matter what. He's like,
That's fine.
maybe old man Haster's still around after all. Kind of as a joke, and but starts looking around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to kind of give you an idea of the layout, that's the word I was looking for, of the store. As you walk in, you can see a couple of rotating stands that are full of comic books. There is the cash register with a bunch of like rare, what did I call it? Some rare Mana the Meeting cards, as well as some Sellers and Chimera miniatures and dice that are in this display case. The cash register is still there as well. To your right, you can see. Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate that.
But do they have Dargans and Dugongs?
No, they don't. Thank you so much for that $6 donation. So there's a couple of different ways you can split that up. You can do basically any combination of the $5 and under items. So just let us know. Rerolls for all. Okay. So that'll be 1, 2. So yeah, perfect. Where is my counters option? I'll go ahead and add those in. Thank you so much for that donation. I'm sure our players are going to greatly appreciate that, especially here in the next little bit. She said without foreshadowing at all.
Mm,
There we go. And then, oh, I see Blair said, so I might try out dimming. Long story short, liking things that I never thought I would, and things I used to like are boring. Very interesting, and I'm sure you're going to do a fantastic job. If you need any hints or tips, definitely shoot me a message. And maybe we can even get you to DM a game on the channel at some point. That's awesome. I'm very excited for you. So let's see, where were we? To the right, you've got your board games. And then further back, you've got books on tabletop games, things like that. And then you just barely, it's pretty dim, but you can kind of see way off at the back wall, you can see some tables set up, and it looks like some racks of miniatures on the walls there, probably for people to play games in the store.
Okay, can I roll gut feeling? Because literally, I feel like Faith has literally no idea what he's looking for.
Yes, you can.
Ooh.
can Cassidy just start looting things that she thinks are going to be slightly valuable?
Absolutely. I will have you do a couple rolls for that in just a sec.
You know, like, stealing from a dead man is 10,000 years bad luck or some shit. You're gonna be haunted the fuck out.
Ah, don't believe in that stuff.
Neither do I.
As you say that, actually, Faith, you hear very, 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 very quietly, "I'm not dead."
Okay, who said that?
Who said what?
Making creepy whispering noises. Y'all are literally rapscallions that are using the opportunity that I presented you to rob a store. Don't tell me you didn't just whisper that.
Not me.
You realize that you don't know precisely where Ash went until you turn, and Ash is just in your ear. Who's whispering?
Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
For being, like the prince of all that is spooky and weird, you really are jumpy.
Yeah. I live alone and run a store alone, and there's literally never any customers because of this shit. So, I don't know. I'm just used to being alone.
At this point, Ash, and
Well, I
only
heard
Ash.
these meeting cards are worth a lot of money. I'll just start pilfering through them. These are weird symbols.
I love it. You've got the card too. So, Ash, as you're kind of picking on Faith, you and only you do hear, "You should be nice to the lonely boy."
So I got 27 gut feeling.
And sorry, you were wanting to know kind of where to go or what you should be looking for?
Yes, because I mean, Faith is looking for something specific, because obviously something weird, metaphysical BS is going on.
Your gut feeling is that whatever it is you're looking for is right the F there.
That's not a great feeling.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm definitely in both the right and the wrong spot simultaneously.
Yeah.
And then Ash, if you are you going behind the counter to look at these mana cards, quote unquote?
Yeah, I'm not being particularly respectful of like the packaging or anything either. because Ash has no idea
Okay.
how to handle them.
Okay. So you do manage to find some pretty interesting ones. One looks particularly shiny, and it's called a aluminum aluminum. Let's say aluminum solus, and it's got a picture of a dragon with like these cool gold-looking horns on the back of its head, and it's got a lot of little symbols at the top. You're not sure what they are, but it looks expensive.
I love it. Aluminum Solus instead of Nicol Bolas.
Because these aren't Magic the Gathering cards; they're Mana the Meeting cards.
Is there also like a slightly darker gray lotus?
Yeah, you find like
50
a
Shades of Grey Lotus.
it's a game store, not a sex store. That's further down
That
the
was
road.
way before its time.
There's-
Come on.
I don't.
You find an off-white jasmine card.
Yes. Ash just like is pocketing half of these things. Just
Okay. Nothing really seems to happen as you're pocketing them. Does Ash react to that whisper at all?
Ash is just assuming that was Spooky Prince trying to get back at them, so they just shrug it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also a cynic, so are we all cynics?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes!
you are.
Yes! That's wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Cassidy, you said you were going to try to find some stuff to loot, right? Gwen?
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Cassidy's looting all the things that
Cassidy found
Okay.
a cat and
are
it's
valuable.
So it looks like Ash is looting all the cards behind the display counter. Do you also go back there and try to loot those, or do you look at like the comics or the board games or something else?
Ash seems to have the card games covered. I'm going to go for the comics.
Okay. As you do find some that say like comic number 1 on them that look like they might be valuable.
Yes.
They're in slightly better plastic
It was in the pack.
little bags. Give me a sight check real quick to see what else you find.
Awesome. I'm gonna re-roll that. There we go. Much better.
Okay. So you're using your reroll?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just take that counter off here, lest I forget.
Ash is
Okay.
gonna holler over. Hey kid, you know rule number 1 of liberating properties. It always makes sense to go for the things you can fit in your pockets. Just saying.
Thanks. I'll keep that
Yeah.
in mind next time I see you around the store.
I got backpack. Thanks, though.
So, your cat's eyes.
They had sort of the look. So real
Things
quick
like,
before
listen, if y'all get caught about this, I'm a fucking upstanding citizen, except for the one time I got a DUI and crashed the car. Underage. Anyways, he's gonna be looking for, I guess, anything out of the ordinary. So not games, not comic books, more like anything weird, out of place, occult.
Okay. We'll come back to that in just a sec. With
Okay.
Cassie, with that 23, you do see a comic. It's sort of in the back. It's behind all the others. It's in a slightly yellowed plastic bag, sort of protective cover, and it looks like some sort of like maybe 60s style comic art, and it's in red letters. It
Yeah.
just says "The Trickster," and there's this sort of jester-looking guy in a Harlequin type outfit. That seems to be like lighting matches that are set underneath this other person's, unassuming person's foot. Obviously, getting ready to like, set fire to their shoe without them realizing it. And it really stands out to you.
Awesome. Looks really valuable. Put that in her pack.
Okay.
Does it look at all like the person that Cassidy saw earlier?
It does, actually. It does
Yeah.
bear a somewhat resemblance. Granted, all you could really see was the silhouette of that person on the road, but it might
Yeah,
cross your
must
mind
have
that
been a cosplayer.
yes, cosplayer. Absolutely.
And they're everywhere.
Isn't that what you
Okay.
do all the time?
What?
Cosplay. That's what you're, I thought you were an anime character or something.
Thanks. Really?
So,
We never had TV or internet. So if I was gonna read that shit, I'd have to go to the library. Pretty much all I had to do. So no, I'm not cosplaying.
on that note, as you're looking around for the occult stuff, you're a little annoyed and distracted as you're looking around.
Yeah.
But despite that, you do manage to see there are a set of stairs that go upstairs in the back. And with your really good gut feeling roll from earlier, I'll let that carry over to let you know that, stuff like that they probably wouldn't have like in the main display. Maybe there's like some Ouija boards or something like that upstairs.
Okay. So he says, I'm going upstairs, and heads there. He doesn't even bother looking behind him to see if they're still there.
Okay.
Or following him.
As you get about halfway down the aisle, all of you hear the door slam shut. A loud clap. Everybody give me a hearing check.
I don't know how to do that. There it is. 21.
21. Perfect.
There it is. 20.
20. Okay, and then what was Faith?
21.
21. Okay. So all of you hear a distinct click of a lock going back into place, and just you hear the sort of soft echoing sound of someone going. Also, just so you all know, the meet chat does pop up currently over Ren's video camera.
Whoops.
So if you do want to say something off camera, just use Discord. I should have mentioned that earlier. I apologize.
No worries.
So, yeah, you all hear that laughter.
Okay, which one of you fuckers did that?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's probably
Not
just one of those
me.
weird toys.
Might be that cosplayer I saw earlier.
You saw what earlier? Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Like, don't some of
Um,
those action figures look like they probably have, make noises?
I mean, he
You know,
looked like
button and they do.
Hold up. Hold up. Door locks from the inside, not the outside, right?
Nobody really inspected it. Do you go up to the door and look?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a sight roll.
Okay, that is a 19.
19. So as you get to the door, um, you start to feel this sort of energy of excitement. You can't really put your finger on where exactly it's coming from or what it means, but you just have that sort of feeling. You look at the door and you can see that it's one of those deadbolts that has a keyhole on both sides.
On both sides. Okay,
Yes.
so somebody could be on either side.
Correct. If you had a key, you could lock it and unlock it from the inside or the outside. But if you don't have a key, you can't unlock it from either side.
Okay, that's a weird design. It's like, what kind of Alice in Wonderland chicken shit is this?
Um,
Hmm.
Real world knowledge, those are typically the types of deadbolts you'll have on doors that have windows on them so that somebody can't just bust out the window, reach around, and unlock it.
Makes sense.
That is player knowledge, probably not knowledge that Faith would have, though.
Nope.
Yeah. It'd be knowledge that Cassidy would have, but probably not share.
Okay. So yeah, you can look at it. It is definitely locked. If you try to open the doorknob will turn, but the deadbolt will not.
Yo, do one of you encounter a key?
No. I don't need keys.
All right,
I
then
mean,
you unlock this.
I could just take the lock apart.
Right, one of you unlock this then.
Fine.
Okay.
I will oblige. And go at it with the lockpicks.
Okay, go ahead and do another nimbleness roll. You can add that lockpick in there.
That's a dirty 20 with the lockpick. bonus.
Okay. You manage to get the door unlocked. The deadbolt turns, and as soon as you pull the lockpick back out, it immediately slams back shut. And you hear a voice go, Now, that's cheating!"
I've got tools. I can just take it apart.
It was, who followed us? Why you
I'm
being
telling you,
creepy?
It's gotta be that Jester cosplayer.
No, it's got to be those stupid kids that were following us.
That's what she was saying. Do you see any stupid cosplay kids? I don't think I see any stupid cosplay kids.
You don't hear anything else. The voice stops after saying that. Everything just goes back to being really quiet.
Can I push on the door again?
It's firmly locked.
Ash will just kind of like rustle it a few times.
And you hear the voice again go, "That won't help."
Awesome. So, Satan's real.
Are you the kids whose mailbox I toppled over last week? Because this is not really, an equitable response.
At this point, only Ren hears this next part. You just hear that same voice go, "No, I actually think that's rather funny."
Well, then who are you?
You'll just have to find out.
Now, does Cassidy see any screws on the lock?
You do.
Yes. I'm going to take out my screwdriver, and I think you don't need much else to take apart a door, but whatever else she needs to take apart the door, the lock,
door
she's
lock?
gonna just start taking it apart.
Okay. Go ahead and
So-
Unscrewing
roll,
the screws and stuff.
roll mechanical engineering for me real quick.
22.
Okay. Rowan, you had a question?
So yeah, I guess at that point, like, because he has no idea what the hell else to do at this point, Faith holds up the pendulum, like to try to figure out like what the heck Deckle is going on here.
As you hold up the pendulum, instead of hanging down, it's almost as if gravity has been inverted for it. It's trying to pull up towards the ceiling, and it's spinning around like mad.
Holy shit!
Gwen, with your 22, you start to unscrew one of the screws on the lock, and all of a sudden you hear this bzzz noise, and it feels like your hand has just been electrocuted. And you immediately drop the screwdriver, and it clatters to the floor. Give me a quick sight roll.
Ow! 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 Not nice.
So it's 16. So you glance down at the screwdriver, and you can see that where your hand was now has one of those little spinny pegs, like the handshake buzzer toys that you'd see, like the really old ones. Where you'd like it had a ring that you'd put over your finger, and it's a little metal disc on the palm, and then there's this little metal sort of peg that sticks out that as soon as it gets pushed, spins around and makes you feel like you just got shocked. You just hear.
Yeah, hilarious. Ignores
Alright.
that and like tries to take that off.
As you poke it, it disappears.
Ash is gonna spin around and just stare at. And now I have forgotten any other name other than Spooky Prince. Faith. All right, talk.
About what?
There is some clearly Stephen King fan or something out there who you probably made an enemy out of or something with your spooky nonsense. What's going on? 'Cause
You
there's some creeper holding onto the door out there and we can't get out.
Yeah, about that. I actually know shit about this. Honestly, I didn't believe in this shit. Still don't.
Same though.
There's-
But this is weird. And he points at the pendulum that's like trying to, I guess, point at the ceiling now. It's just like,
As you point to it, it stops spinning. Still is going towards the ceiling, but the string forms the shape of like a balloon animal dog.
excuse me.
And
what is this?
then-
What is this? Magnets? What is this?
And then Faith,
Dude.
only you, at that point, as you're going like, what the heck? And Ash is going, is this like magnets? You hear right beside your ear. Roll discipline. It's okay, Jane. I scared the cat.
No, I actually heard the neighbor's dog bark at that point.
That's amazing.
Well done. So the neighbor's dog's convinced.
What was your discipline
Alright.
roll?
Luckily, my dog is deaf and so does not care about anything that's happening here.
That's great. 24.
24? Okay, so it definitely scares you, it startles you, but you manage to hold on to the pendulum, and if you choose to, you can not look shaken at all.
I mean, he does like pull away, and I guess he does look behind him. Like, is there actually a dog here? Like
And then you
a
just-
little bit of a recoil, but a
You-
chill recoil. A very, very chill and cool.
Did you do one of those kind of like Shaggy and Scooby Doo like zoinks jumps, in so that like I could catch you again? So
No,
it turns into a
he's too
recurring
cool.
theme.
He's too
Okay.
cool for it. He's like, right. No, it's just literally a string and a weird shaped crystal.
Hmm.
You do party tricks with it, like, I don't know, like hold it out during a seance and be all like, oh yeah, if it spins like this way, it means you're gonna have a girl, or this way, it means you're gonna have a boy. I don't know. But normally don't do that.
What
Yeah.
if it just goes in the middle?
What?
What if it just goes in the middle?
If it goes in the middle, then you're not gonna have any kids. I don't know. My mom's the one who knew anything about this shit.
Okay.
Anyways, so I'm starting to think that my mom may have been onto something. And I I don't know, like play along, I guess.
Yes, play along. That sounds like a marvelous idea. Oh, did I say that part out loud?
Do all of us hear that?
Yes, you all hear that.
Oh, great.
What's your name, Creeper McGee?
He says, "Oh, I've had many names, but one of you already has my name."
What?
Creeper McGee. All right.
Not that one, but I do like it.
Great.
Hey, you said that that magazine looked like that cosplayer thing. Can I say it?
Yeah. She takes it out and literally holds it in front of her, so you can see it.
Like, I'm not actually gonna give it to you. It's like, fine. I'm not planning on keeping the damn thing. What does it say on the title or at all?
So the title is, the very flashy comic font in big red letters. It says "The Trickster."
The trickster.
Seriously?
Did you
Back
just
in her
hear the?
backpack.
You all hear the voice go, "Pity for the smart, spooky boy."
What? It's a spooky boy. Okay, excellent. All right. So,
Then you also start hearing, "Spooky boy's an egghead. Spooky boy's an egghead."
It's not necessarily a bad thing. You do realize that?
all right, Jester. Fine. We're playing your fucking game. What do you want from us?
So with that, there's oddly silence.
Great. Excellent.
There's gotta be other ways to get out of here. It's fine.
Mm.
It could be
Yep,
like
we're
one of those.
playing your game. We're just gonna wait right here.
So what's
I'm
Ash's
gonna look
last
around
name?
for one of the stands for the comic, like one of
Oh.
those metal stands that I can pick up.
1 second. Thank you so much, Micah, for gifting that sub to Atomic Firebird.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ren, welcome to the Blackfeather Guild. I hope you enjoy your stay. So
I guess Spooky Prince.
So as Ash, what's or Ren, what's Ash's last name?
Jones.
Jones. So as Ash is doing the little like finger walking motion, you all hear, "I can see that, Ash Jones."
The face is so good.
Mm.
And when you do that, you just hear somebody going, "Yeah, I can do that too."
Mm.
All right. There's cameras somewhere.
I'm not impressed.
I figure it's some sort of. Okay, listen. It's probably some sort of like escape room type thing.
There's more nerd stuff.
I'm looking for one of those metal stands that has stuff on it and just empty all the
There-
stuff off of it and pick it
There's
up.
one
and-
downtown. A lot of the college kids go there.
Yeah, you Cassidy, the rotating stand that you got the Trickster comic out of.
Mhm.
It's not bolted to the floor. It's heavy and cumbersome, but you could pick it up.
Mhm. Gonna pick that up and smash out one of the windows.
So give me two might checks for that.
Okay. First mic check, second mic check.
So
I'm gonna re-roll that second mic check. Even lower. Great.
Okay.
Works fine.
On Streamlabs. So what happens with your first might roll? You pick up the stand, no problem. Not a big deal at all. As you do, lots of different comic books flutter to the ground and in a big heap, and some of them get bent up, and only Cassidy hears the voice go, "That was a first edition! What's wrong with you?" And as you go to throw it, which window are you going to try to smash out? So
The left
your-
one.
the one behind the cashier counter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you carry it over behind the counter. As you go to throw it, your hand slips and it falls behind you and smashes the display counter. And there is broken glass everywhere.
Ugh.
Jesus.
And then you hear the voice go, "My collectibles! You jerk!"
I don't think you're in any position to call anyone a jerk.
I can call whoever I want to jerk.
I think Ash will kind of look back at Cassidy, kind of like a little bit impressed. Wow. I mean, that was really clumsy, but you're really strong.
Oh
yeah,
God.
not really.
You guys can get a room later.
Jealous.
In your dreams.
Okay. Everything goes back to
So-
being quiet. The trickster hasn't seemed to say anything else. What do you want to do now?
All right. So, yeah, no. He's going to look around for like cameras and back rooms. He remembers those stairs upstairs.
Mhm.
And he might check that out again to see if like there's the room I don't know, control room or something up there.
Okay. You can make your way to the back room. No problem.
Okay.
So you make your way there and miss file.
Oh man, I wasn't muted. Everyone got to hear my belch. I
Yep.
apologize.
Okay, bear with me a moment. Apparently one of my notes got deleted. Now. I distinctly remember making this map.
Oh no. No belch sound for the channel, please. I beg of you. Besides, I can do more impressive than that. If you're gonna get a belch, get a real good one. Just saying.
Okay. There we go. So is it just one of you that head up the stairs, or do all of you head up the stairs?
I'll follow.
And Cassie's just, yeah, I'll follow after.
Okay. Let's see.
Might linger around for a good half minute and then follow.
This one. Okay. As you all head up there, you see a room that kind of looks like this. It's dark. It's cluttered. There's a lot of stuff just stored on tables. Most of it toys, but there's some board games and dice packs and a few books. Everybody roll sight real quick.
22.
Nice.
20.
11.
Okay. So we'll start with Cassidy. You see a let's see, we'll call it a partial metal scientist action figure that catches your eye and looks, and you're very, very excited about that because it's
Oh, yes.
it's a
That's
character
going in the
from
backpack.
yeah, a character from one of your favorite shows, and it's a super rare collectible.
So who's the anime weeb now?
So Ash, you can see pretty much everything that's in there. You notice some more occult type board games and card games over in the corner, some Ouija boards, tarot cards, things like that. You also notice that a lot of these boxes say collector's edition on them, for the action figures and like decks of cards and things like that. And
I'm gonna
then
follow Ash's guidelines and look for the smallest stealable items.
okay, you find several decks of we'll say they're pre-built Mana the Meeting decks that are small enough that you could stick it into your pocket or your bag or something like that. Perfect. And then Faith, what was your roll again? Rowan?
It was 20.
Oh. Yeah, it's
20?
20.
So
Sorry,
you
I
also
forgot I was Faith for a second. Yeah.
so you also see the occult stuff in the corner. Also notice
All right.
you all notice that the sounds in this room are a little bit different. They're spooky, weird Halloween type sounds, like they're coming from outside.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
They got a soundboard.
Excellent. So I guess he's seeing if any of them have been like tampered with because, Mom is superstitious, but superstitious enough. It's like don't touch those Ouija boards ever, and because that only brings bad things. That's Mom's words, not his. And I don't know. He's just checking it out.
So you go check those out, and you notice as you get closer, you go over into that corner, that there is an unwrapped, so the shrink wrap has been removed, on a box that has a Ouija board in it, and a box of tarot cards, and a package of own dice. And there's a little post-it note in Comic Sans font written. It says, "For Ash," or not for Ash, for Faith Moonstone.
Awesome.
Yep. It even has a little heart on it.
Oh, good. Oh, good. He's like,
Is it a
Alright.
black heart?
Nope. It's very it's red and very very fun looking. Very whimsical.
Alright. Alright. He stops and then he opens his knapsack and because he knows better from mom's teachings not to touch anybody else's tarot cards. So he
Okay.
pulls out his own. It's like, fuck that
Alright.
shit. I've got these. I mean, I imagine they're like a gothic deck.
Of course.
So, like, yeah.
Because Prince
Lots
Spooky
of
Boy.
crosses and vampires. And he's like, alright. So, whoever this escape room thing is wants us to play with those. I ain't touching anybody else's tarot cards. So, who wants to play around, I guess?
Why not?
That's not really what you do with tarot, but whatever.
At that point, all of you hear, "Ooh, I want to play! I want to play!" All right, I can't. I get ahead of myself
Sure you
sometimes.
can.
Carry on.
You need a head to get ahead of yourself.
I like that.
Alright, so I guess he sits down and opens up his deck. Oh, hold on
Okay.
one sec.
Like Ash at this point is gonna start going around and looking for hidden cameras.
Okay. Go ahead and do a sight roll.
That's not gonna be good. That's a whole 6.
You're 100% convinced that there are no cameras in this room.
So cameras, maybe there's peepholes. Gotta be something.
Cassidy's like
There are
just-
some windows in the upstairs. What was Cassidy doing? Sorry.
Cassidy's convinced that this is like some kind of higher technology, and she wants to look for the source of it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's probably like one of those escape rooms.
It's 22 for sight.
You don't notice any technology in the room other than the toys, which all seem pretty normal. There's a light switch, a light fixture over the room, but it doesn't
You
work,
gotta turn on the light switch.
and nothing happens. Just goes. The light doesn't come on.
Alright.
I love that
Alright,
you actually
Flopper,
have
let's play
tarot
this.
cards
Of course
because
I do.
of Grim.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is, if it's one of those escape room nerd things,
Mm-hmm.
all of these and things are happening, like pressure plates and stuff, like when we do certain things.
I don't know. I guess. I mean, they basically have all sorts of weird shit in the one downtown.
Oh yeah, did Cassidy see any cameras?
No, the only technology you see is the toys and the light.
Hmm.
No. It occurs to me that the person that knew where we were all going was you, Spooky Prince.
Yep. I don't exactly
Hmm.
make it a habit to break into stores around the part of town that is that's nearly driven my mom's store out of business.
You know, if
Yeah.
you needed a date, you know, there's easier ways to go about it.
Don't kid yourself. So is there specific cards that he draws, or do I just...
You can feel free to draw cards however you like. There's no specific ones. But as you are, Ash, as you are accusing Faith here, a little bit into the debate back and forth, you do all of you hear, Ooh, Discord. This is entertaining. I always love drama. Where's my popcorn?
If you could give me some, that'd be great.
Go get your own popcorn.
Where would I find it?
Well, how should I know? This isn't a popcorn store. It's a
You-
game
what
store.
with the popcorn?
It's my popcorn.
I'm gonna elbow Cassidy, kind of whisper down. I think he knows what's going on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Who do you think's
All
doing the weird trickster voice?
Probably
Is that his older
Oh,
brother
God.
or something, you think? Does he have an older
Best
brother?
friend.
You know.
Both of you can roll education to know if Faith has a sibling.
Okay.
So can I roll? Can actually like? Can Faith actually roll magic, magic whatever, a magic check to see if he can get further meaning from the cards? I guess,
Yes,
or
you can.
understand more what's going on.
Roll magic engineering, and then let me know what cards you actually drew.
I actually pulled up links. Do you want me to send them to you?
No, just what's on the cards.
Page of Swords, King of Pentacles upside down, and the Chariot right side up.
Perfect. Okay.
So
that
I
will be
got
important.
a 21 for magic engineering.
Okay. Somebody was asking me a question right before you started talking about that, though.
I
Cassidy
rolled for siblings. I got a 17.
Right.
I got a
Thank
nat
you.
1 plus 7.
My
So
brain
8.
totally just fizzled out there for a second. So, yes, Ren, or Ash, you know for sure that Faith does not have any siblings. Cassidy, on the other hand, you remember Faith having an older brother named Joe. You remember that he had interest in sports. He's the real jock type. Played basketball, had like the high school letter jacket. You even recall being bullied by this guy, and then he left town. You may be confusing this with a TV plot, but you're pretty sure it's it's Faith's older brother.
Okay.
So with the cards and the magic roll.
All right. So my magic roll is 21. Page of Swords. The meaning upright is no ideas, curiosity, a thirst for knowledge, or having new ways of communicating. King of Pentacles upside down is being financially inept, being obsessed with like wealth and status, and being stubborn in various ways. And then finally, the Chariot is control, willpower, success, action, and determination.
That's amazing. Coincidences are fantastic. So with that magic check, you're like, okay, these are significant, and you feel magic building up around all of you. And then, as if someone were looking over your shoulder, you hear, "Ooh, that looks like a fun game. Swords, a chariot. Oh yes, this will be so much fun." And with that, everything goes completely pitch black for all of you.
Uh-oh.
And
I think instead of like screaming out or anything like that, Ash just kind of like reaches out for whichever human is closest to them to grab a hand or something.
Let it be fair.
And Cassidy will
it's not that one.
grab Ash's hand with her metal hand.
Is this
Okay.
a prayer circle? Is that what's happening? So I don't know. Faith kind of has his hand out because he was like, putting a hand on the cards, and then all of a sudden somebody touches his hand. It's like, what the? Who's hooking up with who? Okay. Just so we're clear.
About the time that
What?
you're saying that, suddenly you all land on your butts in this very, very soft, grassy hill. And it's suddenly very, very bright, enough that you kind of all like squint and shield your eyes. Everybody give me a quick sight roll.
17?
4.
9.
Oh my gosh. So Ash and, oh wait, is that for a 1?
Yep.
Fantastic. You do have a reroll.
That's fine. It's funny this way.
Okay. Rowan, what was your roll again?
17?
Reroll it. Because you're unlucky.
Oh no! Oh no! Those stay literally the same.
What was it again? Sorry.
Literally the same.
Which was
17.
17, thank you. Having trouble holding on to numbers for some reason. 17. You're the only one that sees where you are. The other two are a little bit blinded by the light, quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
You do hear these sounds around you, but you kind of shielding your eyes, can't really see. Faith, you see basically looks like the Shire from Lord of the Rings. You see a bunch of halflings having a festival and laughing. There's like a parade and these little village houses with little smoke coming out of the chimneys. That's a very picturesque scene. No idea where the game store is. You may also notice that Ash is dressed a bit like an emo Robin Hood, if you had to put a descriptor on it. So like
Yes!
That is exactly. That just makes Ren so happy.
like so like your traditional Robin Hood, but everything's brown and dark leather. There's not a ton of green. Very roguish looking with like the leather gloves and a little dagger on their hip. And the only thing that looks a little bit like goofy is the typical Robin Hood hat, which is on their head. You also notice that Cassidy is in full plate armor.
Oh my god.
Oof.
Only thing is no helmet. So you can tell it's still Cassidy. But everything else is full plate armor. You glance down at yourself, and you're in a wizard's robe.
Oh my gosh. Do I have the hat? Do I have the witch's hat?
You do.
Oh my gosh.
And your pendulum is now a wand. I love the wardrobe change. That's fantastic.
It was the closest thing that was within grabbing reach.
That-
Oh my gosh.
I'm impressed that was within grabbing distance.
I'm a larper.
Yeah.
Love it.
Amazing.
So,
Oh my gosh. So
yeah.
so he's like, all right, devil, what the hell did you do?
Cassidy's gonna start taking off the plate armor immediately. Not having this.
Go ahead and give me